Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. The supportive oracle cards, a little different. The Akashic Tarot by Sharon Ann Klingler and Sandra Ann Taylor. I know it says it's a tarot card deck, but it's very loosely based. There's less cards. Some of the cards just don't seem to match up the way I treat it like an oracle deck, so I guess if you watch and you see what I mean. For those people who usually use just tarot decks, I feel like they'll click in real quick to like why it's a little different. If you're more favorable to oracle decks, it won't matter. It probably won't matter. I like both, so I just feel like it's better if I just put it right out there. Okay, Scorpio. The Seven of Roses. Now, they're showing, when I'm feeling the Seven of Roses, there's a lot of work that feels like it's going on here. There's a lot of like things coming in, things that need to be done. It's very busy. Nothing unexpected is also what I'm getting. Nothing unexpected, but it may not be showing up when you expect it. It's almost like you're waiting for somebody to show up for dinner. You're expecting them to show up for dinner. They're supposed to be there at 5:30. You're like, well, sometimes they show up at 7, and then they show up at 5. You're like, wait a minute, what? It's kind of like you're hoping they show up at 5:30. Sometimes they're a little late. They can be up to 7 o'clock late, like an hour and a half late. But on this situation, they show up early, like at 5 o'clock instead of 5:30. You're just like, oh, it's not like you didn't expect this to happen, but you're like, it's not really where I thought it would. Even if it was off the timetable, this is not where off the timetable I thought it would be. I thought they'd be late and not early, but that's okay. So something's coming in. It comes in quickly. I feel like it's more likely early. It's definitely not at the time you're expecting it. Could be late, could be early. I feel like for a lot of you, it's coming in early. You're not expecting it, but you still know what to do with it. You still wanted it to show up. You were still kind of planning for it, and you're like, no, that was going to show up sooner or later, just sooner than I thought for a lot of you. I'll handle it. You do what you need to do. This is how this starts off. Now, this moment branches off into a whole lot of things, which I'm not even sure why we have all these cards face down, but we'll find out, I suppose. You have no problem with this. This situation not happening at the desired time. Like if they're supposed to show up at 5:30 and they just don't, they're either a little bit early or they're a little bit late, whatever. This does not seem to bother you. You're fine. You got the Three of Cups. You're handling it, right? Ironically, the person who's not showing up at this desired time, whether it be early or late, it's that person who's upset. They seem to be all thrown off about it. This seems to be like a real problem here. And I almost feel like they seem to cause problems for themselves. I do see you catching that quick, but you can only catch it so far. You got the Knight of Wands on your side, which means you're quickly going in there and handling it. The best you can do is make it okay for you. You see that they're upset, they're having an issue. You offer help if you can. But if they are determined to be upset, which the Ten of Swords is devastation, you back off. And I'm feeling like you're quick in, trying to do what you can, trying to smooth it off. If they're bothered and they're not listening to you or they're not having it, okay, then that's your thing. I'm not here to control you. If you decide you have to be that way and that's how you have to experience it, then that's them. They have to experience it that way. And I feel like you're stepping back, like, okay, then if that's how it is, then that's how it is. But you're making it quite clear, like, you're not upset, you're fine. You're like, I'm fine. So it's almost like, don't add me to your disappointment. Don't add me to it, because I'm fine. If you're upset and you're having a problem, I'll try to help you if I can, but don't add me into it. I have no problem with what's going on right here. It doesn't have to be right on time. I'm fine. So I feel like you kind of throw this person off kilter for a second. Because the way that energy is coming in, I feel like you're jarring them a little. Like you're kind of saying, I'm all right. I'm fine. You're here. I'm okay with it. A little late, a little early. I can roll with it. They seem to be kind of like expecting you to be angry or something. I don't know what it is. You seem to be waking them up. Even if they're not expecting you to have any certain type of response, you seem to be making them look at this in a different perspective, and you're stabilizing them. Kind of like, listen, this doesn't have to be a bad moment. If you choose to, that's on you. But I'm fine, and I'm here to, I want to help you get it together. They stabilize with the Ace of Pentacles. I'm noticing this Four of Cups on your side. I don't see you, how do I put this? I don't see you really upset or angry at anything. Like, you're still rolling with it. But you're also seeing them, like, it's almost like they're trying to stabilize the situation, but they're also, again, it's like they're setting themselves up for another fall. And you're like, they're being too restrictive, they're recalibrating, they're putting things back in order, they're going from here forward, but you're like, they're being too restrictive, they're being too hard on themselves, they're putting themselves too tightly in this, like they're scheduling things too closely together almost. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm going to have lunch at 12:30, I'm going to go here at 1 o'clock, I'm going to have this appointment at 1:30, I'm going to do this at 2 o'clock. Excuse me. And that's the stress. And you're kind of like looking at this like reality says, lunch doesn't automatically happen for like 20 minutes. Like, it's almost like they're saying, I'm going to eat for 20 minutes, travel for 10, I'll be there at 1, then I'll do this for 15 minutes, and then I can get ready for that for 15 minutes, and I'll be right there, I'll do that. Like, they're expecting everything to go off at clockwork, and you're like, that's not realistic. But this is why you have the Four of Cups. I'm feeling like the tension again, kind of like they're setting themselves up, and you know it. You see it, and you're trying to give guidance, but they're not having it. They're like, no, I can do that. I'm good with schedules. And you're like, okay, then you are. Not like you're trying to be like, but it's kind of like, all right, sure. Then there's reality, but fine. You do what you got to do. You're trying to be helpful. Like, that's the thing. You do care. Are you right? See, okay. Now, this is interesting. Judgment goes in your favor, and I feel like you have to back off. It's like somebody's trying to recalibrate. It's like they're meeting you for dinner, then they have things they have to do afterwards, and you're like, you see what they're going to do the next day, and you're like, they're making it too tight. They're going to make it really stressful on themselves. They're going to be rush, and they're going to be unhappy again. You're right. You got justice in your favor. You saw it coming. But you also have temperance in your favor. With temperance in your favor, to me says, you're holding back, you're just letting it flow, you're just kind of like, you're letting them do what they got to do. It seems like a very zen moment. Like, for the Scorpios I'm connecting with, this is a zen moment. Like, kind of like, you know what, you're living your life. I'm not here to live it for you. I'll try to do what I can, but if you got to do that, then you got to do that. Like, we all have our moments of, like, the school of hard knocks. Maybe this is part of that time for them. You know, and I'm one of those people, I do believe, all of us, some of us more than others, spend our time at the school of hard knocks, and this might be their turn, because we all have our time there. That's how I view it. How long we're there, again, I don't know. So you're just kind of like, you know what, maybe this is one of those times where this is how you have to do this, and I have to respect that. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but I have to respect it. And you're just kind of like, you know what, that's how it has to be. Because what happens? They abandon their plans. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. Because they rebuilt things. And I think a lot of people see the Ace of Pentacles like, oh, we're good. It's all in point. It's all set. It's all good. But if you abandon that Ace of Pentacles, that's your choice. And that's what they're doing. They made it too restrictive. They got it too tight in there. It just wasn't the best way to do it. They're realizing you were right, but with the Seven of Swords, I doubt you're going to hear them tell you that. But they're going to have to abandon their plans yet again. And maybe they're going to have to like watch how you do things a little more. I don't think this person is exactly like you, so they can't do things like you, but they might watch you a little closer and be like, you know what, the Scorpio seems to do pretty well. I can't live life the way they live life, but you know what, they're a little bit more relaxed with this and that, and they tighten it up where they feel like they need to, so maybe I should take a page from their book. This is them. This I just kind of explained this. I probably should have held up the card while I did. The Four of Swords is telling me they're really stepping back and absorbing and thinking about what you said to them, how they've been doing things, how it played out again, how you kind of advised them to like be a little bit more relaxed with it, and they bucked that and said, "Oh no, I can do it," and then they failed. I don't know at what level, but it just didn't work out the way they thought at the very least. I'm also getting for this person, how they view fail is very critical. They might get, it's almost like scoring an 85 on a test, and to them that's fail. Meanwhile, the rest of us would be like, no, that's pretty good. So just be, they may be overly, they might set the bar way too high. If I'm not getting an A plus or extra credit, then it's a fail. And you're like, 85 is pretty good, calm down. Like, it's kind of like, no, you did pretty good. So the way they view themselves and the way you view them might be a little different. They might be like really setting the bar way too high. This person is going to go around again. They've gone from the Ace of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles with the Ace of Swords. I almost feel like they're trying to pull you in to help them with something. They're trying to solidify things. They're trying to understand how you do things. I literally feel like this person's going to come forward to you, ask for your advice, and try to like, almost like they're taking a course. I almost feel like a lot of them, I don't know if this is crazy, but I feel like somebody's bringing forth a notebook and like, oh, how do you do that? That's how you do that? Okay. Making notes, that's fine. And you're like, it's just kind of weirding you out. I feel like it's just kind of like one of those moments like, okay, you're taking notes on how I get groceries? All right. It's kind of like one of those moments, like, sure, if that works for you. It just seems really, I just feel like this moment, and it could be like you're in a business situation, and it's a place where, you know, notes are fine, but it's just the fact that it's just kind of throwing you off. Like, you're taking notes? Okay, fine. Yeah, you can do that. You've got the Four of Roses. Views of the ego. This seems to go back and forth. This is kind of like a merry-go-round thing for me. It's kind of like making my head spin. It goes from moments where you're kind of like, you're starting to question the way you do things, then you question the way they do things. Something about this moment just seems to turn you in a circle. I don't know what's going on here. I'm trying to figure it out. Because they're working with you, they're taking notes, and it's almost like, I feel like they're saying, tell me how you do it, but I almost feel like they're also trying to explain to you why you could be doing it better. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, but I'm succeeding, so... and you're not. So how can you tell me how to do things better when I'm the one who's actually able to do it, and you're the one who needs me to help you learn how to do it? It's a little... I think that's the thing. I feel like this is weird. This is a weird moment. Because they have the Ace of Swords, and they're trying to learn from you, but I feel like they're also trying to tell you how to do it. Whatever it is, they're trying to tell you how to do it. Literally, you're the one who does it successfully. They're the ones who are trying to learn from you, and they need to remember that. That's why this is like a merry-go-round. It's like it's spinning my head. It's kind of like, it's hard to stay on the level, because it's kind of like, no, you want to know from me. I'm trying to teach you. But at the same time, you're like, well, if they have an idea, I guess I want to hear it. So if they have something to tell me, I guess I want to see this other perspective, even though they're the ones who can't seem to do it right. So it's kind of... But then you can still see another angle. I don't know why. This is almost feeling like a different sign. This is Scorpio, right? All right, we're good. I don't know. It seems like it's weird. I would say at this point, you might want to do this in small increments, because I have a feeling this person will get under your skin from time to time. You want to absorb what you can, but you want to absorb what they're saying, but not really talk it out. I don't know if that makes sense. If they have ideas for you, maybe you want to write those down, but you want to think about that off to your own. Kind of like, thank you for the idea, I'm going to write that down, but let's get back to what I'm trying to show you. And you want to keep it there. And then later, if you feel necessary, whatever they've told you, think it out on your own terms when you are ready to. I don't think you want to banter back and forth with this person, because, again, you do it right already. They are the ones who need to. So, I mean, you want to absorb the information, but I'm going to like write it down, put it to the side. Okay, thank you, and I'll deal with that later. I'll mull it over later. I don't want to talk about it now. Right now, let's focus on you and getting you on track, whoever this person is. Where does the focus need to be? I feel like that's what we're going for. Small increments. I'm also getting that, like small increments. Anything else with this? That's where this one's ending. Once you get this far, like what you do with, you got to get this far first. I feel like this is just about getting this far, and then seeing what happens after that is a whole nother ball of wax. All right, so I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.